Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code THEWIGANWAY, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
Now we're back for our first Super League match review of the season. Obviously, we opened the season at the Brick against the Leopards in a game dubbed the greatest opening night. Now, it wasn't obviously the spectacle that we all expected. Yeah, I think that's fair to say, Matty. But anyway, it was still quite a good game for different reasons, but still quite a high quality match.
Yeah, for different reasons. It was refereed like a playoff game, and it was intense as a playoff game.
Yeah.
Not many games will be that intense this side of Good Friday, and so that made it an event in itself. Obviously, the build up to the game was fantastic, and the amount of people that got through the door was fantastic, and I think they were treated to a game. Really, they were treated to some excellent defending.
I don't think anyone walked away disappointed with that game.
Well, I did, because we not won.
Yeah, obviously not winning makes it a little bit disappointing. But what I mean is,
for the neutral, it's a fantastic game because it was close. The defences were on top, but also the narrative of this season is now completely changed. Mm. The whole narrative going in was how predictable the league season was, and we'll talk more later about how it's not been, and how it's too easy to predict. Leigh we're going to struggle because they've lost a few players to Hull FC. We were going to walk over everybody and destroy the whole competition and win everything easily. Now, one game in, the narratives for both those teams have changed. So, all of a sudden, Super League is a much more interesting competition. And people are talking about the fact that it was 1-0. All over the world, people are talking about it. Mm. People won't be talking about Wigan and Leigh if this game finished
20-4.
Well, if we lost 18-16... there wouldn't be the conversation.
No. Let's go into this game then. Obviously, a great pre-match, big build-up, lots of questions to be asked, and a lot of them got answered. It kicked off and both sides are known for the great attacking play, but it really did, especially the first 10-15 minutes was a massive arm wrestle. Neither side made mistakes. I don't think there was a single penalty in the first 20. I know Wigan got one in the entirety of the first half.
There were no 6 against.
No.
So the ruck was very, very slow.
Mm.
And again, that's how the game is reffed in big games, isn't it? That's how it's reffed in finals and semi-finals.
September rugby.
The ref lets them play, and it was interesting to see that happen in February.
I would love if the league was ref like that consistently.
Well, it's not, because we've seen in the 5 games after that the game, they've not been ref the same.
No. So, obviously, we get into a tight start, and it's 0-0 for a long period.
Mm.
No one really threw any attacking threat. But I think a part of that was just, the first game of the season, get into the grind, show that you're prepared to defend. Both teams would have been waiting for the opposition to make a mistake, and none of them did.
No, I did say last week we're going to be rusty at the start of the season.
Yeah.
We are. Because there's no World Club Challenge, and that's fine. You're not going to see us be at our best in the first 10 rounds. We don't have to be.
Nothing's won in February.
We just have to progress in the Challenge Cup and, win the games we should win.
Yeah.
We don't have to be perfect.
So that arm wrestle like we said, one penalty in the entirety of the first half, and it went to Wigan. I don't think there was a single handling error.
I think both teams made one trying to score a try.
Yeah.
I think there was a forward pass from Leigh trying to score, Armstrong threw a forward pass, and Kieran knocked on trying to score a try.
Yes.
And that was the only mistakes I could think of from the first half, really.
Sorry, I've just thought of one. The Cruz Lehman kick, which Thompson then kicked dead and gave a 7-tackle set.
But again, that's trying to score a try.
Yeah. So it was all very, very safe, very, very playing the long game, and both teams probably bit into it and played well. Wigan had one good chance in the first half. A bit of a breakaway. Ended up with Tyler Dupree. Tackled just short of the line. But apart from that, it was pretty tight. It was very little on offer.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Matty Peat or Adrian Lamb, you're probably thinking at half-time having that conversation. I'm happy with that. We just fix a couple of things in attack. We just tighten up a few areas and speed up our passing. Then we can win this game. And that's what's quite ironic, isn't it? That both of them wouldn't have been disappointed and would have probably said, you know what, we'll take that in our first half of rugby. Neither side would have been disappointed. It's not like one team blew 4 chances. It was just slightly off it.
Yeah.
And that trend, it carried on into the second half, if we're being completely honest. Wigan had one good chance early on where Jay wasn't able to get the ball out to Jake Wardle.
No, it felt like it was a guaranteed try if he managed to squeeze that ball out, but I think it was...
It was the winger, Keenan Brand.
I think it was well defended.
At the time I thought this, he does really well to cut the passing lane and stop field stepping inside.
You just got to give it early, haven't you?
Yeah.
Give Wardle a chance to get round him, because it's not like a crash centre at Wardle, he's a speedy centre, isn't it?
Yeah. But again, if that's the one disappointment you have from the game, really, that's not a bad one for the first game of the season. Just that not sharpness in the passing department. The first real big moment, though, 53rd minute. Bevan French puts a kick in behind for Liam Farrell. Now, Liam Farrell doesn't get a run at it. Lachlan Lamb and Jack Hughes
close the window.
Close the window.
Yeah.
I personally think it's obstruction going off what we've seen in the other games, and particularly in the Wakefield Leeds game that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
There was an obstruction given there that I don't believe was. But if we're giving that,
then this
is definitely.
Well, I think he was obstructed. He didn't make a meal of it, that's the thing.
Yeah. He didn't go to the floor, he carried on running through. And then Faz will be disappointed here. Bit of a brain fart. Kicking the ball away into the crowd.
Yeah.
Prevents with a quick play, because Armstrong could have picked up the ball. 20 metre restart, Armstrong could have gone. And it's careless from Faz. It's not thinking about the game, and a mistake that, you know what, he's probably made once or twice in his 12, 13-year career, probably won't make again. There was obviously something new in this game, and it's probably worth mentioning now because the thought's been with me. The captain's challenge.
Yeah.
Wigan burned those early on in the first half.
We did. Well, no, early on in the second
Early
half.
on in the second half, sorry. But it had already gone before this moment. If we'd have reserved it and kept it, then we'd have actually been able to use it here.
Yeah, we would have, but I don't know if it would have been overturned.
No, I'm not saying the challenge for kicking it away.
No, I mean the challenge for obstruction. They probably would just have gone, oh no, stick with the on-field decision. Not enough obstruction. We've seen the bar is quite high for overturning calls.
I just think, but that's an opportunity.
I think
we need it.
Leigh's challenge, if it was just if it was sent up as a 50-50, Leigh would have got their challenge right.
Yeah,
because that would have been probably given as a ball steal. But because it went up as a not a steal, they stuck with the original decision, which they do too much, as we've spoken about before.
But I just think we might not have got away with it, but that's what you've got to save your challenge for.
A howler. I think people have been bad at wasting the challenges on things that are objective and that are going to be tough to prove.
Yeah.
You should save it for a howler.
Yeah. Or you're clever and you save it till when you're blowing.
Yeah.
Which we haven't really seen. I think did Castleford use theirs a bit wastefully against Hull KR, but it was actually just to have a minute's rest.
Yeah.
You've got to be more tactical about it. You've got to have something that you can prove is wrong.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they would have overturned it, but that would have been a good option to overturn it, because suddenly you overturn the decision and Liam Farrell doesn't get the sin binning. So, Liam Farrell goes to the bin, 10 minutes sat down, fully deserved for what he did. It's a black and white rule, isn't it, if you delay this restart.
We've seen people, in trouble for that before.
Yeah. But Wigan get the best chance 3 minutes later. Edwin Apape, from 15, 20 metres out, zero tackle, loses the ball in contact.
Yep.
Played to... Harry Smith picks the ball up, gets it straight into Field's hands. Jay does what Jay's really good at, keeping the play alive. He goes in field, skips back in towards the wing and puts a big left foot step to score almost under the sticks. It's sent up as a try.
Yes.
And it's then turned that Liam Marshall... It's then decided that Liam Marshall has stole the ball illegally 2-on-1. I'm not happy with that.
I don't think it was stolen. I think it's a textbook loose carry, and I think that's been a loose carry for as long as I've watched rugby.
Yeah. He's falling off the tackle. His head's pressed against Ipape, so he can't see the ball.
Yeah. He's
falling off the tackle because Ipape is still driving.
Yeah.
And, again, it would have been one of them that if he'd give no try, I think it was a ball steal. I wouldn't have been...
Given how much we've seen video referees stick with the on-field call, and say there's not enough proof to overturn, I am surprised this one was overturned.
I'm flabbergasted.
I think they've got this one wrong.
Yeah,
I thought it at the time, and on multiple reviews, I think they've got it wrong. Yeah. I don't think it was a ball steal at all.
No, I don't, and it's a bit of a killer. Disappointing that you're actually gone down to 12 men.
And again, and if he gets tackled short of line, nothing gets looked at.
Well,
and that's the problem with this video referee situation, is they're then re-reffing the game by going back 15 seconds. That would have, get tackled, we score off scoot from 9, then it's given, you can't even look at it.
The big thing for me is no Leigh Leopards players stop and complain. Pape just gets up out of the tackle and carries on. He doesn't think it's a ball steal.
No.
So I've got a little bit of a question about why the referee in this game went to the video ref anyway.
Well, if he's not sure how it came out, he should go to the video ref, but we've seen things sometimes overturned.
But for me, he was certain, because he allowed play on.
Yeah. Yep.
He allowed play on.
He waved it off, didn't he? I saw him wave his arms off.
Yeah. So he says that it's okay. No one appealed. And from the rest of it, Fielders just jumped through some gaps and scored.
There's nothing wrong with the rest of the try.
And I just found that really...
Yeah, they got this one wrong.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So the rest of the game carries on, probably in the same manner as the first half and the start of the second, back into the arm wrestle, back into the nitty-gritty side of the game. And I don't think this was Wigan's best management of a game. We've got probably one of the best game managers in the league in Harry Smith.
Yeah.
We've got some very, very experienced players who know how to win big moments. But I don't know. I don't know why we didn't manage it the way that we normally would. We turned an opportunity from probably 25 metres out for a drop goal attempt.
Yeah, which I don't mind.
I don't mind
that time, but then with 2 minutes to go, you try and score left and end up finding yourself, with a left-footed kicker too far over to the left.
Well, just go back to that first one. The one that we turned down was probably 25 metres, centre field, but there was about 10 minutes left. So I get what you're saying. I can understand him thinking, well, if I go for it and miss, it's a 20-metre restart, 7 tackle set, advantage, Leigh.
Yeah.
So I'm not against that. What I'm then against is 2 minutes later, taking a rushed attempt from 45 metres away.
Yeah, I don't get that one at all.
Where, if we're turning the first one down, turn that one down and just pin him in the corner.
Yep.
2 minutes late, 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left is the ridiculous one.
We're set up in great position for it. And maybe something was off. I've not seen it. I've not seen why Smith didn't go for it, but we play left.
We tried to score.
We played left. Jake Waller gets tackled, and this is my major criticism. Smith has to get another 10 yards in field. If that means you either bring a right-footed kicker, you've got Adam Kieran, who's a right footer.
You had Leigh in as well.
But Harry Smith has to come 10 in, just to give yourself an opportunity. He can't attempt a drop goal at that angle, left-footed.
No.
It'd be reckless trying it right-footed, really.
It's a ridiculous angle, and I've seen people saying, just slot the 1-pointer over from there. Yeah. With that angle, no.
But he does make the play. They turn the drop goal attempt down. Kicks across field, a short, flat kick. Probe him running into Bevan French's hands. It's right in the path. And Lachlan Lamb, I've got to give credit to, does really, really well to jump and get a hand to it.
Yeah.
And I know it's not classed as an intercept because it's not off a pass. But to just stop the ball getting to Bevan French's hands and then being able to dive on it was brilliant work. Keeps his team in the game. And then this brings the next yellow card.
Yeah.
Adam Kieran.
Yeah.
Now, if Liam Farrell's was a silly mistake, a brain fart, or whatever you want to call it, this is a complete rush of blood to the head.
Yeah.
I would like to think that Adam's thinking if I hit him, hit the arm, he might drop the ball and we get one more set. But you have to make sure you get it right. It's secondary contact with the head, I think the video ref said.
He bounced up off the shoulder, did it?
But you have to get it right. If you're doing that, you have to make sure you make contact with the ball.
Yeah.
He goes and sits down. 10 minutes in the bin. Now, obviously, they get the penalty, which isn't really a major issue with about 50 seconds left.
Yeah, they don't do anything with it. It's on their own line.
They
messed up their chance, but it would have been for a very, very long drop goal.
Yeah.
So I don't think we could think much into that.
No. But it was the fact now we defend the next 9 minutes of Golden Point down to 10 men.
Well,
down to 12 men, sorry.
Well, however long Golden Point would be, we would be down to 12.
So the game ends 0-0.
Yeah.
And we're then treated to 10 minutes of just waiting. But from what I've read and understood, it was something to do with the clock at the game not being on, because they ended up starting the game without the clock anyway.
They ended up using the ref's watch,
which
they should have just done anyway.
Yeah.
But I can see why. You want to use the technology that's there. You want to take one less thing.
Yeah, and
responsibility-wise off the referee.
You know what? If you're Gareth O'Brien, if you're Harry Smith and it's getting down to that last 30 seconds, you want to know if you've got one more carry in you or not. So there is that element to it that you possibly need a clock in view. But I just think, hurry up. Yeah. The whole point of Golden Point is to get it going fast, is to get it being exciting.
And once again, we're having the same conversation about Golden Point in league matches. I can't think of many fans who actually like it. I know last year I said we've got to the point where if it's a big team that loses, everyone loves it. If it's a small team that loses, everyone hates it. We've gone past that now. I think everyone just hates it.
Yeah.
Everyone hates the fact that the league matches go to Golden Point. If a game can be a draw after 90 minutes, why can't it be a draw after 80? Why can't Wigan and Leigh just say, and the following night, Castleford and Hull KR, why can't they just say, honours even, we've battled there for 80 minutes, tough minutes, we'll take a point apiece, we'll see you down the road.
Well, the point is both teams deserved a point in this game.
Absolutely. And the next game after.
And Castle KR, Cass definitely deserved a point.
Yeah.
But we know that's not the case. It goes to Golden Point. Wigan received the ball.
Yeah.
I'm still of the opinion that you should always try and kick off. I'm not sure who won the toss.
I don't know.
Who won the toss? It wasn't particularly clear at the ground.
No.
But yeah, we received the ball. We do pretty well, actually, to work our way downfield.
Yeah, we give it to them after we've had our 6 tackles. We give it to them about where they would have got it from if we were kicking off anyway.
Yeah. My one disappointment with it, though, is obviously it's not in drop goal range.
No.
Harry Smith puts a very, very good kick in, trapping him probably 15 metres out from his own line, 2 or 3 in from the wing, and we could really pin Leigh back then. And Marshall contests it. Now, I'm not sure whether that's the call or that was the plan.
Yeah.
But for me, though, you're trying to pin a team back.
Let him catch it.
Let him catch it. Either throw him in touch, or it's first tackle 2 yards in from the touchline. The second one has to be a safe carry.
Yeah.
Probably make no distance. You can pack that side of your field.
Yeah.
And suddenly, you're on your own 20 on the second tackle.
Yeah.
Leigh then only kicked from the 40 maybe. And Field could be returning it, taking the first tackle on the 40.
Yeah.
Instead, Marshall contests it, throws the ball back inside. I think it bounces, hits December's chest, catches his hand, goes forward. David Armstrong, who we'll have a chat about in a minute, doesn't make particular distance, but gets to centre field.
Yeah.
And just by getting to centre field, it makes your defence so much more difficult to defend.
Yeah.
You have to defend both sides of the ruck. You're defending both sides of the ruck. You can't really compress the same.
No, we all know how getting it in the corner 5 and 5 is the best. So we spoke about that before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Lewis has talked about that before.
Even though we're down to 12, it's still disappointing that Leigh make it from there into confident field goal range.
It just felt like our defensive line was passive.
Yeah.
And that can be fine sometimes, but when it's in golden point, you have to restrict meters. You can't do the whole bend but don't break thing, which we're quite good at. Yeah, you can make meters, but when you get close to our line, we're going to fly around and stop you scoring. You can't do that in golden point because you can hit a drop goal from 40 in pretty much, which is what, it was a decent drop goal, wasn't it?
I don't want to be funny. The guy that hit it, Gareth O'Brien, do you remember his golden point against?
Yeah, it wasn't an easy drop goal. It wasn't a short one.
No.
Just knocked over like they sometimes are.
Hits the drop goal. Leigh celebrate, obviously, as they should. 1-0. First ever.
1-0 is ridiculous, isn't it?
First ever Super League
game
to finish 1-0.
Yes,
it was the first ever Super League game to finish 0-0.
Yep.
It did bring conversations while we were waiting between the people that I was sat around with. I don't know about you, Matt, about what's the lowest scoring game you've ever been to. My dad recalled a 2-0 at Central Park against Bradford, I think he said. But I do think this game can be summarised with Matty Pete's comments that Leigh deserved the win. It was a good spectacle. Defence is on top. We've got a couple of things to work on. A little bit of more smoothness in attack.
Kade Ellis said something similar as well. They're not ones to make excuses at this point, are they?
No. There's no need to make excuses. Yeah, we weren't at the races. We probably played in attack no better than 50% of our best.
No, but you see some coaches make excuses when they lose, and that then
transfers to the
it does. It's very easy to transfer to the fans and to the players. I think post-game messaging is really important.
Just be honest and own it. A couple of players to talk about. First of all, for Wigan, Liam Marshall. I think he made 234 metres, 235 metres.
He got nothing really, did he? All he did was charge the ball in.
He had no real attacking chances.
No.
But brilliant workhorse and a player that I know we've talked about him last season and his work with Miski, and we probably missed Miski's meters.
Yeah.
But Marshall, as a player that came into the side at 18, 19, it wasn't what you expected from him.
No.
And he's developed into a real player of quality there, running onto the ball at pace and making good meters and speeding up the ruck. A couple of other players to mention, Luke Thompson, over 50 tackles.
Yeah, worked hard, didn't he?
I thought Liam Byrne had a steady game.
Yeah, it was nice and direct again. I thought they all worked really hard.
Yeah.
We just didn't have that moment. Like, big games are often won on just moments, and we just didn't have one.
No.
Or we had one, and then it got dragged back for the video ref.
I will say, and being honest, Kieran was my man of the match until his yellow card. I thought he took some really tough carries. Obviously gives the yellow card away and wasn't on the field. For Leigh, few new signings.
Yeah.
I was impressed with the young fullback David Armstrong.
I thought he was fantastic. New was a handful. I thought Isaac Leigh got him round the park quite well from 13. I think there's good signs for Leigh.
The second rower, Ethan O'Neill.
He made a lot of tackles.
He made the big tackle under Dupree in the first half.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to look forward to there for a Leigh supporter.
Yeah, it's going to take time for them. It's going to take a lot of time, and the way they attacked against better teams, if they play that way against the rest of the teams in Super League, if they complete the way that they did and defend the way that they did,
if they don't make any errors,
teams will make lots of mistakes against them, and then you can see Lamb and Armstrong and that side shine going forward.
Doing well, Leigh. Yeah.
So we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the rest of Super League.
Yeah.
So we're going to now look into the rest of Super League. 5 other games gone on, and it's led for an interesting table, really. This start. We're going to start off in France, where Hull FC travelled to play Catalan. Sides who had differing fortunes last year. Catalan just missed out on the 6 last year. Hull FC very, very poor.
Yes.
And I suppose there was a lot of fear, really, from maybe not from Hull FC fans, but if you were to ask neutrals, worried that form would continue. And it didn't really. The new signing settled in well. It's a very, very different squad to the one that started last year. I think I saw there was 5 names, if you compared the 17 from this time last year. And they won 24 points to 4. 18-0 up at half-time. Tries from Jordan Lane, Cade Cust and Tom Briscoe. Artem Org scoring for Catalans after the restart. And Cade Cust getting an extra one and then a Caesar penalty to make it 24 points to 4.
Yeah, I was pleased for Cade Cust. Love him, don't we?
Yeah.
We love him.
It's one of them, just never worked injuries.
No, it didn't quite work. And then obviously we went to Salford and that injuries again. It didn't quite work there.
I would love for him to have an injury-free season.
Yeah, an injury-free season.
If he could play 25, 26, 27 league games, not worry about the cup, but if he could just put some run of games together, like he did at the start of his first season at Wigan, where he really impressed.
Yeah.
I just really hope for the best for him there. Some good playing for for Hull FC.
Yes, they've changed things a bit off the field and looks like it's benefiting them on the field now.
The new head coach, John Cartwright.
New owners, new head coach.
They looked very good defensively, which is... He was defence coach at Brisbane, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had almost every job he's held.
He's an experienced assistant to get. Their attack was decent. Catalan's not great.
No, worrying times for Catalans, really.
Couldn't score. Well, scored one against Halifax.
We said last week that Halifax game, don't read too much into it, but I suppose this one as well, you could say.
If you get 2 more games like this, there's going to be questions being asked of Catalan.
Yeah.
So that was the game on Friday in France. There was another game in Hull. Castleford travelled to Hull KR. I forgot what it was called then. Craven Park. I forgot what Craven Park was called.
Last year's beaten finalists.
Yeah.
Hull KR hosted Class.
It was one of them, these games. This was the game I watched. Obviously, they were both on TV at the same time.
Yeah.
And for the first 10 minutes, it felt like Castleford had put a good effort in. They'd obviously lost to Bradford last week, and the questions about effort.
Lots of questions had been asked about Castleford leading up to this game.
But the first 10 minutes, I thought they've done well, they've stuck in here, and then Burgess scores to make it 4-0. And I thought, how did they bounce back from this? I was worried that they were going to get rolled, whether we'd see the same side that played Bradford, but actually, Josh Sims scores 8 minutes later. Fletcher Rooney, a great solo try.
Brilliant try. What a step that was to get past Lewis.
Big time. He beats Lewis very easily. And And there was a lot of talk before the game about Tex Hoy playing at 6.
I thought he was great.
I thought he had a really good game.
He was great.
Tex Hoy converts. He then kicks a penalty goal to make it 12 points to 4. Real killer for Castleford, and could have caused a lot of problems going into the second half. But Peter Hiku scores with about 90 seconds left. Luckily, Reece Martin brought in to goal kick. Has missed his second conversion, and at half time, Cass led 12 points to 8.
Yeah.
Burgess scored with Reece Martin converting it with 15 minutes to go. He then scored again 5 minutes later to make it 18 points to 12. Importantly, Reece Martin missed his kick and left it just one try.
So they were still in it with a converted try.
Yeah. And then the young centre, Zach Sinney, leaps really, really well.
Yeah,
a great try, big pressure. 5 minutes left, and everyone's wondering what's going to happen. 5 minutes of pressure, and I'm going to be honest, this is why we don't need Golden Point. I know we talked about it, but this last 5 minutes was so exciting.
Yeah.
Without the need of Golden Point, the short kick-off that Cass managed to get back. They worked the way downfield. They won a penalty. If they hadn't won the penalty, they'd probably had a shot at a one-pointer. They win the penalty. Tex Hoy. He'll be suffering after these last 2 weeks. Missing the kick against Bradford.
To draw.
Missing the kick this week to win. Obviously, they may have took a short kick off or whatever.
And this is probably why I wouldn't take the 2. Oh, maybe I would actually.
I think you have to. But there was only 2 minutes left.
Yeah, maybe I would.
You just have to bite yourself to
I just
defend
think
one
take
set.
a couple of drives in, straighten up, then you've got 2 chances at dropping a goal. You know, if the first one doesn't work, you can just fall on the ball. You can have 2 men set up, one left, one right, you know.
I was going to say, my text to you, Matty, is probably still how I feel. Tex Hoy's not a great goal kicker.
No.
And the main goal kicker is Rowan Milne, who hasn't played. I don't know if he's injured. If he was playing, I'd probably say take 2.
Yeah.
If an Adam Kieran, a Mark Sneed, or a Reece Martin, for example, was playing, on your side, I'd probably say take the 2. With it as it was, and not a confident kicker and not an easy 2
No,
points.
it was a difficult kick.
I would have potentially stayed away from that.
And gone for the drop goal.
Yeah.
Which Lewis eventually hit, didn't he? And he said he personally had a poor game.
Yeah.
But come up clutch in the moment.
Well, that's going to be the thing for Mikey Lewis. Obviously, he's a very, very talented player. I think his defence has a little bit of area to improve. They seem to hype it up before the game, but I still think there's a lot of improvement there in his defence. But the big thing is to not have a bad game. Can he have a game where he just survives? And I don't think he was great in this game, but can he still be influential and not be at his best? If that makes sense.
He made the kick that won the game.
Yeah. But he steps up in a big moment. He's a big moments player. Converts it. Feel sorry for Cass. They deserve a point.
They do, yeah, they do.
Yeah. 18-18 would have been a fair result in my eyes. Saturday. The first game on Saturday was over at Headingley. Wakefield. First game back in the Super League. They've been away for a year.
Yeah.
And they managed to get the win, 14 points to 12. Started off brilliantly. Max Jowett getting 2 tries in the first 25 minutes, converting one, and Mason Leno getting a try to make it 14 points to 0. Harry Newman again.
It should have perhaps been 20.
Well, I was going to say, they cut Leeds open for fun. The way that they brought Leeds is right side mainly. And a lot of it comes, and I don't want to put blame on one person, but Ash Hanley's never been a centre. He's been a winger his entire career, apart from a few games at the back end of last year. And defensively, he wasn't reading the play right. I think he was biting early. And then when you've got talented players like Leno, like Jake Truman, and you know Max Jowett's the key man, as soon as they saw Ash Hanley jump up, they were just cutting him out for fun and hitting, I think it was Pratt and Russell on the right-hand side for Wakefield. They were just cutting him up for fun and getting metres for fun.
Yeah.
Same on the left-hand side, not as effectively, but they were making good metres on their outside backs. This try, I don't understand how you can give obstruction when, one, the player's already through the gap, which I can't remember who actually scored it. Was it Jowett?
I think Jowett was the one who went through the gap. I can't remember if he scored it or passed it on to somebody else.
But he'd already made his way through the gap, and Ackers then run in to Mike McMeekin, who was standing still.
You're not looking at him.
Not looking at him, looking at where Jowett was going. But Jowett was already through the gap.
I don't know.
Akers could not have got there.
Unless they've changed the rules, I don't know why that was obstruction.
And just look at that compared to the one that wasn't given in our game on Farrell. And I think in the Wigan League game, Jack Hughes makes a read to try and put pressure on Liam Farrell. I think Mike McMeekin in this game is just standing still.
Yeah.
Because he's the players moved past him. I think it's really tough, and it could have been really, really damaging for Wakefield. But anyway, that's 14-0. Harry Newman again scoring just before half time.
Yeah.
It would have been a killer for Brad Arthur to go in at 14 points to 0. Getting that try and converting it just gives him a little bit of, actually, we've not played well, lads.
But we're still in it.
But we're still in it. They've not run away from it. 20-0. And it would have been panic stations, in my opinion. The game sort of stays quiet. Not much happens until Mason Leno takes a sin bin in. They defend that 10 minutes really, really well, which has been the issue for promoted sides.
Yeah.
Defending down to 12. We know we get more yellows and more reds than we used to. And teams put points on during that. They defended the 10 minutes. Now, we didn't see this try at the time because Sky Sports Plus went down.
Yes, it did.
But Sam Lissoni kicked the conversion. Sam Lissoni scored.
Yeah.
Jake Connor kicked the conversion.
Yeah.
Something I saw was that apparently Jake Connor took quite a while to take this conversion. I'd only left 26 seconds. If he'd have kicked it quicker, you might have got a little bit longer.
Not much longer, though.
Not much longer, but...
Because the clock stops after a minute.
But at that time, 20 seconds is
yeah, I suppose.
Is a long time when you've only got 26 to play with. They weren't able to do anything with the last 26 seconds, and the game ends 14 points to 12.
Yeah,
massive 2 points for Wakey, that.
Wakey hung on there and survived to get the 2 points, so fair play to them.
Yeah. Right. Saying telling Salford. We're going to have to talk about the elephant in the room here, Matty. But let's just talk about the game first of all. 82-0. Yes, Salford played with 16.
The elephant in the room is not why Lewis isn't here. We've not thrown him off or anything. He's just on holiday.
Yes, yeah, he's away.
That's not the real elephant in the room.
The real elephant in the room is what is going on at Salford. But Saints win 82-0. They do what they have to do, though.
I think if Saints had done anything but win 82-0, that would have disrespected the competition.
Yeah.
Further, so
Saints
have to do what they did. You can coast maybe in the second half, which they did. Let's be honest. They coasted a bit in the second half, which is fine.
Played a little bit of short rugby as well.
But first hour of the game, you have to be going for the throat. Get some lads loads of tries. Get loads of try assists. Start
trying combinations.
Yeah,
so it's a new look spine. Sailors are taking a new role on. Lomax is taking a new role on.
It was easier than West Hull, who are have a bit more fight about them.
Yeah. So 82-0. I'm not going to go through all the try scorers because there was plenty of them.
There was 15 tries. I think 14, 15 tries.
Now Salford.
And that was just how many Saints wanted to score.
Yeah.
They could have scored more probably if they tried.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, was what they should have done.
Interesting to see that Robertson started at centre. Hurrell sent out on
Joe Reg to
Halifax.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew with the squad they'd rather Hurrell play up against men and get a little bit of match fitness that way. A little bit of getting Robertson in the squad.
I think, give Robertson a game.
Another game. We're going to talk about Salford. Now, they named 17 when they announced the squad 4 or 5 days before the game. They played 16. Yeah. They only carried 3 on the bench. Don't know why.
Those were the 3 first teamers.
Tiaki
Ben
Chan.
Halliwell, Tiaki Chan and Joe Bullock.
Yeah. Now, this is something that I feel really strongly on, and it wouldn't be right for us to just avoid the conversation. Salford are potentially getting a new buyer.
Well, Salford have said they're getting a new buyer. He's come in. He's apparently paid off the debt, but I've heard a rumour that it's been with another loan. So he's actually not put any of the money in himself yet. He hasn't been ratified. He hasn't had his funds checked. He hasn't passed the fit and proper test. And the conversation is, well,
remove the restrictions because we know he's coming?
No.
Why not rush through the checks? We know he's there, he's got the money, he wants to put his money in. And the reason the RFL can't do it, and the reason that the RFL are in the right here, in my opinion...
Which is so unusual.
I know. I can't believe I'm sticking up for the RFL. So that shows you how much I feel about this. We've just seen, with another Wigan club, Wigan Athletic, what happens if you don't get the right owners in and verify everything and do things the right way, that an owner comes in and leaves.
We've seen it firsthand from within our time.
What would happen if the RFL say, oh, Salford wants us to let this guy through, pass him through, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, the guy says, actually, I'm going to sell you off for bits. Actually, I'm going to put you into administration as whatever tax reason, blah, 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 blah. What if he turns out to be an absolute con man and got no money? And then everyone at Salford and in the Super League, rightly so, would say to the RFL, you bang out of order, you've not done your checks, you've not done your job. Salford borrowed and went to Super League asking for money.
Mm-hmm.
Salford have to do the right, proper things. Check this owner, make sure he's got the funds, make sure he can pay the debt off. There was things about, and I'm gonna question Paul Rowley. In his pre-match speech, he said we took 2 squads. The one that played last week, which was under the 1.2 million cap that's been set in because they're not running sustainably.
Yeah.
And they've been told they have to keep in place until the buyer owns the club.
Mm-hmm.
But when he said it, he also said, with Sneedy and a couple of others, which means they've added Mark Sneed and a couple of other players.
The highest earner.
The highest earner. Probably up there with Nene McDonald and maybe one more. But we've added the same squad that meet the 1.2, but we've also added a couple more to it. So then you're above the 1.2. You know Super League were going to reject it.
Yeah.
They knew it. And the reserves, which were put forward. And he's then been said, what am I meant to do? Get half the normal lads and half the reserves and introduce them on the bus? No, what you're supposed to do is introduce them at training so that these guys are ready to play because they are your reserves.
If they're your backup players,
then they should be ready to play.
Yeah, they should. What he should have picked was 14 starters and 3 backups.
Yeah.
I don't know what was stopping him doing that.
Take the same squad that played last week without Mark Sneed.
Yeah.
Because you won last week. You put up a very good fight last week. And I'm sat here thinking, what would happen now? First of all, to Salford, if they miss out on the playoffs in points difference. And I've already seen Salford fans saying, well, if we miss out in points difference, we don't deserve to be in. But that's not the case. No, and you'd be annoyed.
Yeah.
More importantly, what happens if Saints get a home fixture or make the 6 or make the top 2 based off points difference?
Well, you've got to live with the bounce, and the rest of the teams have got to live with the bounce there. They've got... They in that situation, you would do the same thing.
Exactly. I can't criticise Saints, but what I'm saying is if for example, Leeds missed out on the top 6 by, say, it's on points difference, 20 points, that comes back to that Salford loss.
Maybe.
And it plays a mega
Saints
part.
Have been given a free 3 points.
Yeah.
Basically.
Effectively, yeah.
Again,
this is Salford's situation.
It just worked that it was St Helens that got it.
Yeah.
I think if it were Wigan that got it, there would be even more uproar.
Yeah, I'm not criticising Saints for that. They've done what they had to do. But Salford are in this position of not having the money. They've talked about not having to sell players in the past because they've fundraised all this money and then still broke the promise and sold Tyler Dupree, Andy Ackers, Brodie Croft, to name a few, to make funds. And they've still not had the money. They've still been had the debt. This guy's come in. Apparently he's paid off the debt. Apparently I've read that it was with a loan, which the end shows he's not put the money in yet. But I want to confirm that. I want to check that. I just think Salford, this is like throwing the toys out the pram. And I saw Matthew Shaw, the reporter, put it a good way. If I was buying a car from you, Matty, and I told you the money will be in your account on Friday, would you give me the car today?
No.
Exactly. They've been told what the rules are. They have to play to a £1.2 million salary cap. They were able to do it for the for the Challenge Cup fixture. No one went off in that game with an injury. No one. And then they've got a lot of injuries, so they can't put that same squad out. And for example, if they'd have lost Nene McDonald, then you bring in a young winger and Mark Sneed to take that cap place.
I don't know. Well, that doesn't have any weight because Joe Bullock would have started.
Tiaki Chan would have started.
If everybody was injured, apart from Joe Bullock and Ben Halliwell and Tiaki Chan, them three would have started. Wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Your three first teamers would have started. And you would have put somebody else on the bench.
I hope at no point this year Paul Rowley or anyone at the Salford Club talks about player welfare, talks about squad burnout.
Well, it was a difficult watch, that, I think. It was a difficult watch watching them lads trying to stop, Curtis Sirinen and Joel Batchelor and Alex Walmsley. Trying to stop them.
Who are still trying to get match fit.
Yeah, but your best players in the league are struggling to stop them. Salford's first teamers would struggle to stop them when they get on rampaging runs like that. And Saylor was cutting them apart. Well, they might cut the main team apart, but it was just a difficult watch.
Yeah, it was. It was really, really unfair. Fair play to them young lads. I thought they had a decent effort. They kept trying. I loved the fact that they turned down 2.
Yeah.
And they tried to get
They tried to score.
They tried to get points.
Yeah, but would the bank really have been broken if they played Joe Shorrocks? You could have added Joe Shorrocks on the bench. That wouldn't have broken the bank, would it?
Well,
that wouldn't have been disallowed by the RFL.
No. We already know that the team that played against the Midland Hurricanes, and I'm actually trying to have a look at what that side was.
Well, I think Chris Atkin.
So the team for the Midland Hurricanes was Brearley, Cross, Masters, Hankinson, McDonald, Nicarima and Atkin, Singleton, Morgan, Ormonroyd, Chan, Wright, Shorrocks. The bench was Foster, Sangare, Bullock and Connell. Ben Halliwell didn't even play, he was the 18th man.
Yeah.
That side could have gone out. Let's see if any of them players are available next week, because apparently there was injuries. So if miraculously they're all one-match injuries, it's very suspicious to me. And I think Salford, I'm going to say, I think they've let down the league a little bit. They've thrown the dummy out that they've not been allowed to do what they want.
They've certainly let down those lads they put forward into 13.
I think they've thrown the dummy out because they've not been allowed to pick what side they want and spend the entire cap that they're spending because the owner hasn't been ratified yet. And you can't expect the RFL to skip the correct process.
No.
So I'm disappointed with them.
See what happens this week now. I mean, there's a long time before the next game, so
yeah,
see what happens.
Right, last game was today. It was, what was the terminology Scout were using? The Battle of the Burgess.
Yes.
Tom Burgess up
For
against
Huddersfield.
his brother Sam, obviously the coach. And Huddersfield got off to a great start, scoring through Tuilula here.
Yeah, this was another game which started with an arm wrestle.
Yeah, an arm wrestle.
A lot of them did this week.
Yeah, a fight. Teams not wanting to make mistakes early on. Completely perfectly. Warrington will be disappointed early on. They let a lot of catches go to ground, as in high kicks go to ground.
Yeah.
And we know the old saying, never let a rugby league ball bounce.
Yeah, Steve-O.
But when you do it once and do it again and 3 times, you're going to get punished for it eventually. And the try comes from that kick. I can't believe I'm saying it for the 3rd time in the first week. Aaron Lindop scoring in the last minute of the first half.
Yes, that was a theme as well.
Makes it 6 points to 4 and suddenly Warrington are back in it.
So who else scored? So Leeds scored in the last seconds of the first half. Hull KR
scored in the last minutes of the first half.
Warrington.
Yep.
But so did Hull FC with the try for
Tom Briscoe. Well, actually, it was 6-0 with 5 minutes to go. Cade Cuss scored with 2 minutes left and Briscoe scored in the last minute.
Yeah. So tried in 37 to 40 minute period have been
5.
Yeah.
across 4 games.
Yeah.
They are real coach killers. Huddersfield would have been really happy going in 6-0.
Plus, I mean, Saints probably scored one because he scored on every other minute.
Yeah, it's a bit unfair. But doing that just kills any momentum. And obviously he misses the kick, so he goes in 6-4. But if you're going in at 6-0, as Luke Robinson, you're thinking, if we get a penalty take 2 and we're 2 tries ahead.
2 scores ahead, yeah.
2 scores ahead. Instead now, you come out and defend. Matty Ashton scores after 6 minutes. Ratchford converts. You're now behind 8 ball, and I can't remember which commentator said it. But Huddersfield were trying to defend themselves to a win.
6-0.
6-0.
Not 18-0. 6-0.
With 30 minutes gone. And you're trying to defend yourself to a win, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Toby King scored, again unconverted. Where Joe Greenwood then scores on the 70th minute. Danny Richardson converts, takes it to 14 points to 12. And Matt Duffy ends up getting the winner for Wire in about 3 minutes left. A little kick in behind. Fullback nowhere to be seen. He's in the line defending. And he gets their first
Smart kick.
Smart kick, clever play. Seeing the fullback up, clever play. You can't say anything to that.
What I was interested in was, we introduced the idea of the spread last week. Leigh won.
Yeah.
Underdogs won. Castleford covered the spread because they were lost by 1 point. Hull FC won. Wakefield won. Huddersfield covered the spread. So the only game where the underdog did not get within the spread was the Salford game. And they actually suspended betting on that once the squad came out.
Yeah.
So, actually, it was a good week for the underdogs.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
big time.
Good week for the underdogs.
The league, obviously you can't read too much into the league because it's set off basically points difference.
No, but the funny thing is, on Thursday night I said, well, at least we'll be in seventh. At least we'll be in 7th. And then we're not even in 7th because somebody else lost in Golden Point.
Well, they're now ahead of Cass are now ahead of us on points scored. So
one thing I forgot to mention, with the Cass match was Danny Maguire got a bit of stick, didn't he, from the commentators for celebrating?
Yeah,
over celebrating.
But they kept calling it living the game, being involved in the game, celebrating each decision, arguing each decision. You can't criticise a coach for showing passion.
I don't mind that.
We've got loads of different types of coaches. We've got Matty Pete, who's seen as quite a calm and collected coach.
Unless he's playing Warrington.
Sam Burgess, who is the ex-player, the hard man, looks a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially if you're Richie Myler in the tunnel.
Yeah. You've got Cartwright now, who looks like the wise veteran.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. You've got McNamara. He never gives much away. Willie Peters, the Aussie that seems a little bit... He's always a bit on edge, isn't he?
A little bit on edge, quite quiet, not a big speaker. I'm trying to think of who the rest of the coach... Darryl Powell, who looks he looks like the experienced coach that you bring in to keep a side up.
And Darryl Powell looks like he's just lost everything.
Yeah.
All the time.
You can't criticise coaches for being themselves.
Let him live in the moment.
What do you want to do, Bill? 12
robot coaches.
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with Danny Maggs, living in the moment, as they call it, or whatever.
Yeah, you know what? It might tire him out a little bit. In some games, he might be a bit more subdued. But in moments, in tight games, you want personality. And how good will that feel for his players? When they watch the game back and they see him living everything and he's with you fighting.
Yeah.
That'll give you some support in there. Right, that wraps it up. We're going to come back and talk about Friday's upcoming game. So, Friday, we travel to Hull FC, and not much needs to change, really. This Hull side will still be nervous. It's not somewhere that we've travelled to particularly well in recent history, and I think Matty Pete's men will be looking to change that. What do you want to see, Matt? I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking...
progress over perfection any day. You just need We need to be a bit sharper because obviously we've got Vegas coming up. That's a big game. We want to win that, and it's against Warrington.
Yeah.
And so if you lose the first game, it can be quite tricky then. So I think we'll be looking for a bit of progress, a bit more fluidity in attack,
And just 2 points.
and especially 2 points.
If we defend the way that we defended against Leigh,
We'll win.
we'll win.
Yeah.
Because I don't think many teams can defend as well as Leigh did
No.
against us for that long.
No.
A couple of key men were quiet,
Not off the back of from France.
celebrating a big win.
Trip to France, celebrating the first win. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get the win.
Just a little bit more fluidity, a little bit more combinations. I don't think anyone's picked up a ban.
Well, we'll not know.
We don't know yet,
We'll
but
not know
I don't think anyone will be over.
Kieran might be a bit nervous because he obviously got banned a couple of times last year.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens there. Yeah, we're not going to do predictions today. Obviously, Lewis isn't here, so we're waiting on him to send his predictions in. The spread isn't released yet.
No, we've had to record this earlier than usual, and you will listen to this potentially earlier than usual just because it's half term and we're going away.
So yeah, once we get the spread, we'll get our predictions out to you guys first, so you can see what we think, and then we'll send the polls out for you guys to answer. It's going to be an interesting round of Super League. I'm looking at the games from next week, Matt, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, Huddersfield and Leigh have caught my eye because I want to see if Leigh can back up that amazing performance from Thursday night and see what Huddersfield can bring because they were all right. They were better than I thought they were going to be against Warrington.
You know what's caught my eye? Other than Salford Leeds, what will Salford do?
Yeah.
Castleford Saints, Saturday 8 o'clock at Castleford.
Yeah.
Cass showed a lot of good signs against a good Hull KR team.
Yeah.
Saints almost effectively had a bye. So this is like round one really for them.
Yeah, it is, I suppose.
At Castleford, it's going to be tough. They'll be on a buzz. Could Cass do the damage there? I'd like to think so.
I'd like to think they would, yeah. They were all right.
I'm looking at the rest of the games, actually. They're all going to be interesting. Warrington faced Catalan.
Yeah.
In Warrington, Catalan got a point to prove. Oh,
Wakey. We're against El Borghi side.
Wakey have got Hull KR. Wakey's first home game of 2025 in Super League.
Yeah.
New stand being shown off to Super League. Hull KR got to improve. It's going to be a really tough round of fixtures again. And that's what we want.
We want tough fixtures every week, yeah.
Right. Thank you for listening, guys. It's been a great episode. Matty, just me and you this week. Hopefully Lewis is back next week. See if he fancies coming off holiday anytime soon.
Well, we'll be back in work by then.
Yeah, hopefully. Right. We'll see you next week. Thank you.